You're listening to High Frequency Healing on the Superpower Up podcast, the show that explores the awakening of superpowers through higher dimensional healing.
Hello, this is AngelaMaría, one of the Superpower Up hosts, and you are listening to High Frequency Healing Show. The only difference between where you are to where you want to be is the actions you take here and now to heal your life. Let's take a deep breath and be here and now. I invite you to enjoy this time together. So here we go. Let's welcome Chella Diaz to my show. We will be talking about money's spirit energy. The list of certifications and programs she has completed is quite extensive, but to include a few: Reiki Master, Reiki Teacher, Starlight Energy, and her most recent, which brought all her certifications together in a powerful way, 7th dimension healing energy. Chella knew at a very young age she was different from the other kids. She was able to see and feel things other kids couldn't. She didn't want to stand out, so she put her gifts to sleep. She was married for 17 years and has 2 sons. For over 10 years, Chella has been on her spiritual journey. Chella has been hosting workshops for women to help them master their money skills. Chella is a vessel for 7th dimension healing energy, and she meets every client where they are and provides the tools they need to get more to where they want to go. So please join me to welcome Chella Diaz. Hola, Chella.
Oh, I am so delighted to be here. I've been looking forward to this all week.
Nice. Thank you so much. I'm super excited too. So, Chella, let's start with what's your healing superpower?
Great question. I would say is my ability to see where people are. Sometimes people may say something with their words, but their body and their energy is telling me something different.
Oh, I love
so
that.
So it's really helping them. Yeah.
So we can talk more about it. But before we move on to this topic that I think is just so interesting, and what you said, I think that most of our listeners are thinking, what? Tell us, please, and take us back to your early years and name one memorable life lesson that is useful for you today.
Unconditional love from my grandmother. I was the first grandchild, and I was so welcomed, and they did spoil me. But I also felt like a queen with all the love and all the attention.
I was just like breathing, because through all of these interviews and all the people that I have the blessing to work with, that is the way every single kid should grow up, feeling loved and feeling like the queens and kings that we really are. So Chella, we are going for a break for 10 seconds, I promise. But before we go to break, where can people go to find out more about you?
They can go to my website, Chella, Chella, D as in David, AZ.com. Or they can check me out on Facebook, Chella Diaz. I also have a Transcend Abundance page on Facebook. So Facebook or my website would be the best ways to get a hold of me.
Perfect. So now it's time for us to keep on enjoying these words and just be there. When we come back from this short break, we are going to talk more about her healing superpower. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you here to change the world? Do you talk about things like vibration, frequency, awakening, and consciousness? Are you pretty sure you have superpowers? The Superpower Net is unlike normal coaching programs and conscious communities. We provide training, intuitive guidance, peer-to-peer learning, intensive one-on-one coaching, and a high vibrational network of people just like you. When you join the net, you get 24/7 access to a collaborative group of people who support you as you master your personal power and unlock your superpowers. If you're ready to use your superpowers to change the world, then join the Superpower Net today. Visit superpowerexperts.com/the-net to learn more.
We're back, and you're listening to High Frequency Healing Show. Today, we are talking with Chella Diaz. In Spanish, Chella. In English, Chella. And I love the way you pronounce it. And I said, my Spanish is again here interfering. And we are talking about money's spirit energy. So, Chella, I love what you answered in the first question, and I also honor your answer in the second question. And I do believe that one of the reasons why you have this healing superpower is specifically because you always felt that love and that value when you were growing up. So I would like to know more about that healing superpower.
Awesome. As you mentioned, you have a lot of verifications because I've been looking for what is that thing, what can I identify with? And so it took me a lot of different certifications. But at the end of the day, when I started really looking inside and asking the questions, how can I be of service? Who can I help? Who is my tribe? And then all these gifts, all these downloads, all these dreams, visions, however we want to call them, started showing up. And so now I'm able to really go in and see where the person is and then help them identify what no longer serves them so that we're able to release it.
So was there any burning bush moment that made your heart desire changing your path in life?
Absolutely. Divorce. I was married for 17 years, as you mentioned. And after the divorce, I felt there was a void. And not just because I was divorced, but I felt there was something that, there was just a void within me. And that's when my spiritual journey began, because I wanted to find out, what is that? What do I need to do? Where do I need to be? What trainings do I need to go out and take to satisfy that void, to fill that void? And so it's been a journey, right? It's a daily journey, because every day we learn something new as we continue to grow, evolve. We learn new things. And I think that's the magic of us. That we're constantly learning, we're constantly growing, we're constantly in an adventure.
I would like to highlight the fact that your divorce was that burning bush, because sometimes in life, when we have these kind of challenges, we feel like our life is over. It's awful. I cannot believe how I'm going through this. And I see it every time with the people I am working with, my family, my friends, every time that there is this situation you were not expecting, that situation you can't control, you feel like your life is falling apart. And that's one of my teaching every time that I find these kind of situations is just see the light, see the big opportunity that is right there. You may not see it right now, but I can assure 100% there is something big behind this tough situation. And you were able to see it. You were able just to stop and say, okay, so now what? And just be in contact with your emotions and feelings to know where you should go. And I love that, Chella, because that really shows the divinity you are, that you were able always to connect with that inner peace in yourself, who was yelling, who was giving you signs, and the divorce was like the last warning, like, hey, it's now. And I love that, and I want to honor you for that, because I know it's not easy.
And I'm glad you said that, and that is perfect. I don't want your listeners to think that I got divorced and next day I was able to come to this conclusion. I was in a dark space for a little while, right? I was, it's why me, why me? I went into the victim mode for a while. So I did do that. But then perfect. Afterward, yeah, right. But afterwards, I was able to really see the light and that's it. I began to see the light, and I began to explore those options.
So then Chella starts working with money. What's money, Chella?
Money is something that, unfortunately, especially women, I'm only talking to our women right now, we don't like to talk about. It's a big mystery, right? But money is just energy. Money is just a tool, right? We use money to get things, but we also use money to help others, right? Money is everywhere. It's about what's the money conversation that we are having with ourselves.
And that has an impact in the way we relate with money and the way we manifest money in our lives, right?
Absolutely. Right. It's about what do you tell yourself? If you're saying, I never have enough, I need, well, most likely that's not going to happen.
So,
really quick side note. So I have been good with money. So to give your listeners an idea, since I was 9 years old, I used to go to the farmer's market and I used to get the vegetables and fruits. And I purchased my first car when I was 17 and my house when I was 23. So money for me just made sense. It just did. It was not until I got married that I found out that other people think about money differently than how I felt about money.
So why do you take the money path?
Because it was so easy to do it. And then when I found out that other people, that it's not as easy for them. And I began to do workshops. I began to do workshops for elementary kids. And then I moved up to high school kids. And then I moved up to women's groups, right? Because I'm able to show them, if we take the money out of the equation, if we think about it in a different way, I like to think of it as I open windows for people to shine in light into the money stories, into the money relationships. And once you start to see that light, it makes sense. And as a speaker trainer, watching when that light goes on for people, when they get that idea that I can do it, it is such a high for me, because I know that I've made a difference in that person's life.
Oh, I just love all of this, because my experience with money wasn't that positive at the beginning of my life. It was a lot of struggle that I went through. But now, every single word you said is exactly how I feel. And this relationship with money has shown many dark spaces in my soul. And it wasn't just related about money. It was related about my health. It was related about the relationship with myself, the relationship with my husband, the relationship with my parents. And I was able to see all of those batches just because of the lack of money in my life. And being able to heal it and transform it, as you said, from the conversations I had and I still have with money, has created a huge impact in my life. So thank you so much for doing this, Chella, because I do believe that money is a master, is a spiritual master, is an energy that comes to teach us something important. It comes, or it just doesn't come. It doesn't flow just to teach us something that is deeper than just, I'm not enough, I don't have the right job, my family has never been rich, etc., etc.
Perfect. That's exactly right. It's that conversation that we're having with ourselves. But once you're able to see it differently, right, to heal it and transcend that and release it, once you're able to learn the lesson from it, then you're open to receiving. And again, I'm going to women, but women, we need to get better at receiving, because we're givers, right? And listen, I'm a work in progress myself, but we need to start practicing receiving.
Absolutely. And as you said, I do believe some men have issues about this, but our energy, our feminine energy, is exactly the one that creates, I don't know if creates would be the right word, but just generates this incapability, this situation for us to feel uncomfortable when we have to receive, because we are so used to give all the time, not just in terms of money. Give love, give attention, give compassion all the time as women. That's what we do. And being open to receive exactly the same or even more from others is really a challenge. And I invite you, if you're a woman, or if you are a man and you feel, gosh, yes, I have this problem, it's hard for me, I feel uncomfortable, I prefer to give, just take a deep breath and think about it. Because if you really would like to create a bigger flow of money in your life, you need to be open to receive it. Otherwise, how is going to come into your life? So, Chella, go ahead.
That's a marvelous idea. Well, and I think that one of the best ways to start to practice is by giving to yourself. So what if you start giving yourself 10 minutes a day? 10 minutes a day to do something that brings you joy, whatever that may be. You know, for some women or some men, it could be working in the garden. Maybe it's doing a meditation. Maybe it's going for a walk. For me, it's baking. I enjoy baking. So what is that one thing that you can do for yourself, just for you? And if you're a parent and you're a mom with kids, what can you do something for yourself? Can you go outside and enjoy the tea? And also that's going to allow, because I used to do this with my kids, right? I had me time where, you know, they knew if I was in this space, you know, that we needed to wait until I came out. And usually it was my room or the playroom, right? But we gave each other space. And I honor them as well when they wanted some alone time.
Mm-hmm. I think that's super powerful. But I love your idea because it's planned. Think about it before. I usually tell the people I work with, at the end of the day, when you do the gratitude journal, when you go over the day, think about what do you give to yourself today. But I even like better the fact that you plan it. Okay, this is what I'm going to give to myself today. I'm going to be open to receive this 30 minutes walk or this 1 hour baking. And that's the intention to do it before creates the space. Thank you for that, Chella.
My pleasure.
So, Chella, you said you are a vessel for 7th dimension healing energy. And that you, as you said it before, meet every client where they are and provide the tools they need to get them to where they want to go. And I think this is just fascinating. So tell us more about the 7th dimension and its importance in the healing process.
I'm going to make it short because this is one thing I could talk about for hours.
Oh, I love it. Go ahead.
the things that it does, it's energy that flows through me on the vessel onto the other person. And it goes, this 7th dimension is pure magic. Now, I'm a Reiki teacher, Reiki Master, so I've done all of that as well. But this one comes in, and it's very gentle, is very loving. It shows you an incident that happened and how we carry that story, that trauma on our body cells. So 7th dimension is able to show you, okay, this is the incident. What was the lesson you learned from it? Because it's important for us to learn something from that event. Mm-hmm. And then we release all that no longer serves you. And 7th dimension is able to evaporate, release that trauma from your body cells so that you're no longer subject to that story. You're able to move forward. A lot of my clients I've come across recently, they're like, I thought I had dealt with this. I've done work on this. I don't understand why it hasn't gone away. Because we deal with it mind from our heart, but the story still lives on your body cells. So 7th dimension is able to release that from your body cells so that you don't keep repeating the same pattern. Mm-hmm. It's magic, just pure magic.
Wow.
Most of my clients are able to experience a shift after just one session.
And how do you get to the 7th dimension?
7th dimension, I'm able, just like any of the other energies, and there's definitely lots of wonderful, powerful energies out there. I'm able to channel in and connect, and it just flows in. You absolutely feel it instantly because it comes in. It's like a soft cloud. Mm-hmm. People have said soft cloud. It's like a warm water. Everybody experiences it differently, right? But you're able to experience that, and you're able to shift whatever no longer serves you and release it. Very loving, very caring. It's magic.
So, Chella, you said that everybody experiences in a different way. What changes have you experienced with this work?
For me, for instance, I find when initially I started doing this work, I had a lot more joy in everyday things. I found myself laughing in the car for no reason, and also people being attracted to me, right? If I'm at the store, people will come up to me, they'll strike up a conversation, they'll tell me what's going on in their life. It's just, I'm a vessel for them to release the pain. Mm-hmm. But for my clients, for instance, is releasing that story about, the money conversations, releasing that story when those kids were mean to you, releasing all of that from your body cells so that you're no longer subject to that. I believe we are all born with a diamond inside of us. Mm-hmm. And as we grow up, and, through various experiences, we put on dust and maybe a little mud onto that diamond. So 7th dimension is able to come in and shines the light on the steps and the work that you need to do to shine light, to polish your diamond so that you're able to, one, live out your purpose, have more joy. Because when you have more joy, you're going to attract. To me, it's all about joy. If you have more joy, you're going to be able to attract more of that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, talking about all of this, this magic that you can create or you experience in this 7th dimension, what has been one of the most beautiful or powerful process you have guided?
I did a workshop for 85 college women. And watching them interact, because my workshops, I run them through different exercises. And watching them realize the money story, the money conversation that we're having, and having them share that with us in the group, incredibly powerful. Because every single one of those ladies, even though not all of them spoke, but I know based on the reviews that they gave me, every single one of those ladies walked away with what they needed.
Wow. And that's why I love the power of energy. And I know some people may think high frequency healing, but this is exactly what we are talking about. It's not just working in your body, it's healing something deeper. It's healing in your emotions, it's healing your mental body, is healing your cells, your A and D. It's just something that it's so hard to explain with words, and you have to experience that, because that's the magic of working with energy and being able to heal from a place that is just deeper than your body.
I could not have said it better myself, right? It's about discovering, it's about polishing your diamond so that you're able to shine your light.
Yes, exactly. So, Chella, please share with us 2 steps or tips for anyone to start this healing process with money. Because my first invitation is, if you're struggling, not just because you don't have money, you may have a lot of money, but you may feel guilty to spend that money. You may feel in fear because what if this money is not here anymore? What if I can create more money? Or because you really feel the lack of money in your life. Either way, I invite you to get a session, to talk to Chella, to go to her website and just read more about this. Because believe me, it is not about your job. It's not about the investments you have made or how much money your family had or has. It's about the frequency you are relating with money. Are you trying to create more money from lack and from need and fear? Or your energy really, really flows in this energy of trust and abundance and self-love? So, in the meanwhile, by people get the time to go and get a session or just contact you, Chella, what they can start doing?
I would say spend a little bit of time. I'm a huge believer in journaling. So spend some time, some quiet time. And what is the first money conversation you remember adults having? Right? You were sitting around, maybe you were eating, maybe you were playing, maybe you were watching television, maybe you were outside running, and the adults were having a money conversation. So what was that money conversation? And I'll give you a couple of examples that I've run across from some of my clients. You know, the parents were saying, we don't have enough money to go out and pay the utility bills. We don't have enough money to go out and buy groceries. We don't have enough money to go out and buy whatever special thing is coming up, right? It's we don't have. Or what about money does not grow on trees? So what was that conversation about? And don't judge it, right? We're just looking at it from an adult, but we're looking at that conversation. You're almost outside of that. And so step 1, so what was that? And write it out. And don't judge it. Don't analyze it. You just write it out. And then part 2 is, how has that conversation affected your adult life? So for the instance, and you lined it up perfectly. So for the person that maybe the conversation the parents had, we don't have enough money to pay the utility bills, it's possible that as an adult, you're saving money because you don't want to be in that position, which I have seen. But what does that, you know, and I do have somebody that actually had that, right? They had that conversation, so they save everything they could possibly have, they save. But unfortunately, that's creating no joy in their life because they're not able to go out and enjoy, a concert, or they're not able to go out and enjoy, a meal. They don't treat themselves. Forget about going out for a manicure and a pedicure, right? They don't treat themselves because they're constantly saving, putting it away. So in that instance, that's a perfect example of once you're able to go in, right, and see what that conversation was, then we're able to shift it. Because once you become aware of something, it's much easier to shift it.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say that we have a totally a different scenario. And your life was pretty good. Your parents didn't fight about money. And if they did it privately. So you never heard any of that. Then I invite you to think about what is your relationship with money. I recently was in somebody's car and they had change all over the car. There was change on the floor, on the dashboard. There was just coins all over the place. And guess what? Yeah, this particular person is having a tough time attracting money. Mm-hmm. Because if you're going to throw money all over the place, and the same situation was at her house, she just had money all over the place, right? How are you treating money? I treat money as a best friend. We hang out together. We have conversations together. So how are you treating money? Are you grateful for that dime or penny or peso that you found on the floor? Are you glad when somebody offers to buy you lunch? Are you glad, are you incredibly grateful when somebody treats you to somewhere, right? Because that's money. That's abundance. It may not come to you in money, but somebody treating you to lunch, to me, I'm delighted.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So what is that conversation? What is your relationship that you're having with money? Mm. Are you joyful every time you have to go, you're paying your bills? Or you're like, oh, I can't believe I'm paying this again. Or are you grateful? I am so glad and delighted that I have the money to pay this. It's a different frequency. It's a different vibration.
Absolutely.
And when you do that, you're going to attract more of that.
Because wherever you put your attention, that expands. So if you put your attention in the gratitude, if you put your attention in this energy of, wow, it's not just about the bills or the coins, it's the opportunity to have food in my refrigerator. It's the opportunity to have friends that invite me over for lunch, as you said it before. And we can recognize that as an abundance. I think that's the key. And I love what you just said, because money is not just in terms of bills and coins. Just go back in history. What happened before? You had a service, let's trade. You have more sheep, and you have a cow, and I have eggs, so let's trade. That's money. That's the energy of money. Nowadays, we just have bills and coins, but it's energetically, it's exactly the same thing. Am I right?
Absolutely. And that's why I think as women, as we give, right? We give our time, we do for others all the time. We're giving our energy away. So it's important for us to take care of ourselves first. I'm not saying don't help, but I'm saying put yourself first. Mm-hmm. Give yourself that 10 minutes. I like to start with 10, and build up to 30. But give yourself that time and do something that brings you joy.
I love it. And I also want my listeners to know that Chella does all of this work in English and Spanish. So if for some reason you're listening to this interview and you feel more comfortable, like me, to work on all of this energy and all of these topics in Spanish, because that's your mother language. So please, Chella is able to do it in both languages. Or even if you know somebody who speaks Spanish and is struggling with money, and this information may help. Listen, this is not just about let's bring clients to Chella. This is about let's change this collective energy about money that is wrong, that is creating more lack, that is creating necessity, that is creating an energy that is completely opposite of what money really is. So every time that you share this information, you are helping the collective to change, to transform, and heal that energy that is blocking people to be able, as Chella beautifully said, polish the light, the diamond that you already are. So
Beautifully
Chella,
said, and this is why I have a 7-day challenge, no cost, 7-day challenge on Facebook,
I want to do
Transcend
it.
Abundance.
I mean,
So it's recorded, Transcend Abundance. It's on there. Do the 7 days. I think that that's going to give you the tools to get you started.
Thank you so much, Chella. I love this topic. I could stay the whole day here talking about money that I'm so passionate about because I've seen big changes in my life and the life of the people I work with. And not because we start thinking about money, but because money showed up in all of this healing process. So thank you. Thank you so much for doing this job for the world. And let's remind the listeners.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Let's remind the listeners where they can go to find out more about you again, Chella.
You can check out my website, Chella Diaz. I have a special spelling, so it's CHELLADIAZ.com. You can send me an email via my website. You can check me out on Facebook, Chella Diaz. And you're more than welcome to do the 7-day challenge on Transcend Abundance on Facebook. Reach out to me. I'll be delighted. Do any questions. I also Transcend on Instagram, doing money saving tip every Monday. Money Mondays is what I call it.
Love it.
Instagram, Facebook, website. You can always find me.
Oh, thank you so much, Chella Diaz, for sharing your healing superpower with us today.
It's been my pleasure. It's been my honor. I am delighted to be here.
And thank you, all of you, for joining us. I am AngelaMaría, Conscious Creation. Change actions, shift energy to live heaven down here on earth. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Are you ready to discover your superpowers? Go now to superpowerexperts.com and take the superpower quiz today.